Italy successfully kicks out far-right leader Salvini as new government is sworn in.
Here's a summary of the article.
Italy's new government was sworn in on Thursday after the pro-European Democratic Party joined the anti-establishment Five Star movement in an unlikely alliance that has forced the far-right out of power. Giuseppe Conte, the independent prime minister, led his new team of 7 women and 14 men in a swearing-in ceremony in the presidential palace. Mr. Salvini failed to foresee that M5S and the PD would put aside their differences and form an unlikely alliance. In the clearest break from the past government, the Interior Ministry, previously headed by Mr. Salvini, was handed to migration specialist Luciana Lamorgese. Unlike Mr. Salvini, who critics said spent more time on Twitter than in his ministry, Ms. Lamorgese has no social media presence and will adopt a much lower profile than her predecessor as she works with Brussels to draw up new migration rules. The government will need to win confidence motions in the lower and upper houses of parliament before it can become fully operational. As the new cabinet was sworn in, Mr. Salvini said, "Strong powers within Europe were behind the new coalition."
This post received a score of 59,947, with an upvote ratio of 83%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
The delicious irony is that he kicked himself out.
In his arrogance, he thought he could trigger another election. Instead his coalition partner responded with, "Fuck it, we don't need you."
To be fair, they could have done this alliance the first time around, instead of letting him grow to 35% or so in the span of little more than a year by means of his populist government, while Five Stars were actually losing ground as part of that same government. It may feel good that he made such a big misstep, but let's learn something from the missteps previously done by others, lest he win the next election.
It was attempted, but the then leader of the PD, Renzi, shut that down with his infamous popcorn strategy. Quote, "Funny thing is that this time he was the one who first proposed the new majority. Not out of sudden goodness of his heart, but because now PD has a new leadership, and if they went to elections all of Renzi's men would be flushed out of their elected posts. The guy wants to make his own party, but he needs more time. Like Salvini, he's severely overestimating himself.
I think instead that this by Renzi has truly been the epitome of hyperdimensional chess. He didn't do anything. He just proposed an alliance and as a result, ousted Salvini from power."
Interior Minister and PM wannabe Matteo Salvini, who famously called for a mass cleansing, street by street, neighborhood by neighborhood, of migrants from Italy, will now be replaced by Luciana Lamorgese, a migration specialist who for years has worked on planning refugee and migrant reception centers and integration events. Matteo Salvini's decision to break his own governing coalition in the hopes of triggering early elections, and consequently sacking himself, was such a far-right face-palm even Mussolini's battered corpse rolled around in shame.
Triggering early elections. So he saw Theresa May's idiocy in 2017 and learned nothing.
If he wasn't a moron, he wouldn't be a fascist.
It's really hard to get smart, corrupt, loyal henchmen. Really you can only ever get 2 of the 3 qualities.
People are celebrating prematurely. Salvini is polling as the largest party of Italy. The next election he will likely be prime minister. It could come at any moment because the current coalition will collapse. Edit. Here is a good article explaining the situation.
The bet the Democratic Party and Five Star are making is that they can hold a coalition together until the next election scheduled in 3 years, and that by not being Interior Minister, Salvini would lose his momentum.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.